So thank you, God, that we are receiving whatever we need in whatever way we need it, each and every one of us, and we're open to that. So how many people... that wasn't one of the ones Dave and I took, in case you weren't sure. Oh, my. I'm not looking at that. How many people went outside a lot as children? And how many feel now that it was calming to your spirit? Yeah. How many of you, like I did, went out to sort of escape the dysfunctionality in the house? Well, we knew as children, didn't we, that it was calling us, that it would bring us the comfort and the explorations we needed, the discoveries we needed to find. Perhaps you've also felt in nature, maybe not, a visit from someone who's a departed loved one. Yeah, if you want to, raise your hands. You know, it might be a butterfly or a dragonfly or a bird that, well, we're on the next slide. I would suggest we do turn off the slides now, even though we have it figured out. Thank you, Bill. And I'll finish the talk part, and we'll go back to the slides after, which will also give me a chance to get this computer to quit telling me it wants to do something that I didn't want it to do. So if a bird comes to your windowsill and it's the anniversary of the death of a dear one, or it's their birthday, or it's your birthday, and it doesn't act exactly like it normally would. Maybe it stays 20 minutes just staring at you. Or you always see a butterfly of a certain color or kind, and you just know that's mom or dad or my friend so-and-so. Now, not everyone visits this way. Dave's and my father's took turn blinking lights in a certain room, which we had checked by the electrician. There was nothing wrong with. They died within 4 days of each other. And if Dave was in the room doing Qigong or meditating, the lights blinked. Hi, Dave's dad. If I was in the room and Dave didn't happen to be there, they blinked. My dad. So it's not always nature, because beings have all different ways they can reach us, including a dream or including just a love feeling. Anyway, it does often happen in nature. Clients over the years, the most wonderful story I remember is a rose bush that always bloomed from about May or June until fall, bloomed in January on her birthday. Only one rose, and it was the one that faced the door she went in and out. So they're beautiful. More than 3.5 decades ago, after reading a Findhorn Garden book by Dorothy McLean, she wrote several, I decided, well, I'll try channeling nature. Why not? I love moss. So this first one is funny because 38 years ago or whatever it was, I thought, oh, I'll just channel moss spirit. And I was picturing in my head what I thought a moss spirit would be like. And here's what it said to me. You ready? Take that crazy hat and shoes off me. I'm not an elf. Good, now we can talk. We nature spirits are energy. I'm the energy of moss. Maybe you'd call it the deva of moss. I'm not a solidified being or body. You can't dress energy, but you can talk with us and we'd be delighted. My purposes on earth are many. I bring beauty, the healing colors of green, many greens. I cover the ground so it won't erode into the stream. I am cooling and spiritually bring peace to those who take time to sit on or by me. Some cultures honor me enough to make moss gardens to invite people to feel their inner peace. I invite you to make any moss-covered spot your garden, your invitation to greater stillness, and to return to your own quiet, verdant self. Everything in nature has a purpose, right? Even if we can't figure out the purpose. It's like, why do we have to have you on earth? Every person has a purpose. We don't always know the purpose of certain people either. So my grandfather, who was always kidding, used to say, well, everybody has a purpose and everybody leaves a footprint. Some people leave it with the seat of their pants, but, you know. Anyway, I tuned into the trees, many, many trees. If I read you all of them, you'd be here till tomorrow. But here's from the forest. And many of you may have read books where it talked about the energy of trees, secret life of trees, etc. And I've read parts of those books. And in all of these things, the messages any of us get is partially influenced by who we are. That's part of receiving. And anytime I didn't feel a kinship with something in nature, then I would do whatever I needed to make a kinship, because I can't say, oh, please talk to me, and be angry at it or disliking it. Now, that was not a problem with trees. I don't think I ever met a tree I didn't like. This is from the tree spirit. As the energy of all trees, I'd like you to understand the overview. Maybe we could call it Trees United. We connect and communicate through our roots and on the wind. In a grove of trees, a forest, or a jungle, our roots and root hairs touch, sometimes connect, are close enough to know how each member of our immediate community is doing. If one needs support, we give it. And if one is ending its life, we nurture its seedlings. As you know, we're part of your breathing cycle. In our release of oxygen, you feed on the air. What we need you to know is we connect with all of our kind on earth. That helps you. We support each other. We support you. We're a single unit of life sustaining life, including humans and all creatures. A multitude of living forms supports us too. Fungi, nematodes, insects, and more. Some take messages to trees in our forest whose roots don't reach ours. Others take messages to faraway glades, mountaintops, jungles, and more. We serve the diverse collection of trees in our glen, and we need their diversity. In turn, our community supports trees worldwide. So for a moment, let's just pause and send loving energy, blessing, and healing to the trees of the world. And renewal to that land, whether it's in the Amazon forests or anywhere in the world that wildfires have raged. Renewal of forests, of trees, in their natural succession to all those places where trees and forests have burned and are burning. Let us send healing blessings and give thanks for the union of trees. Yes. Don't save. There we go. Oh, okay. So where we left off, can we douse the house lights, please? Can somebody turn off the house lights? By the way, earlier, when I was thanking Debbie for all she had done and what an angel she is, I called her Susan. Well, Susan, you've been good too and wonderful and an angel, but Debbie was the one I was meaning to thank. So thank you, Debbie, too. So we had just done the buffalo, the bison, where it had all the burrs on it. And I was saying how much we all need community, and how one of the things we learned from nature is community is interspecies communication. It is not just I mean, you can't get the burrs out of a bison if you're another bison. So this is the only slide Dave and I did not take. It was free share on the internet, and the artist's name is not easy to read at the bottom. But these starling all come looking for bugs. The bison don't mind having them at all because it's taking out the bugs, which also loosens the burrs and takes those out. And if we all learn from that, then it's that we can receive and need to receive from all different people, all different kinds. And the diversity is what we need. Next. So nature invites us to go from self-judgment to self-nurturance. Nature doesn't have egos. That's good. We are part of nature, and we need them. They're part of a personality structure. You have to have it to do life here on Earth. However, we don't have to do self-judgment. You know, in the Tibetan culture, it doesn't exist. If you talk about guilt or any form of self-judgment, the Dalai Lama, in talking to psychologists, said, we've got a communication gap here. I don't know what you're talking about. So we don't have to do self-judgment. Now, if this red-footed booby sat around saying, they call me booby because it means clown, and I got these ugly feet and they're red, no one else has red feet, it probably wouldn't serve it any more than it serves us when we don't like something about ourselves. Next. Thank you. And I don't think these Watsons say, I'm having a bad hair day, what should I do? And this Saki monkey does not, next, yes, thank you. This Saki monkey doesn't sit around going, look at all my chins, oh my God, I have these rolls of fat, what am I gonna do? No, he jumps farther than all the others because he has no prehensile tail, nor does he have to take pride in that. He just does what he came to do, which is our job, isn't it? Do what we came to do, not beat ourselves up. And just to belabor the point, next. I don't think this woodstock minds its wrinkles or thinks it's homely. Do you? But, you know, I'm kind of glad I don't look like that. How about you? So, if you, for a moment, notice, that's fine. You can go to the next one. Next. What that wood stork knows is that in community, it's gorgeous. We each have our role. The wood stork has a naked head because it needs to have one for the kind of feeding it does, just like a vulture needs to. However, when a flock flies, when we as humanity join together, we're beautiful. And we're each a perfect part. Next. The Anhinga isn't worried about its to-do list. It's drawing its wings for self-preservation and self-nurturance. And perfectly happy doing it. We too can allow ourselves self-nurturance time, and it really is part of our preservation. Next. And this grizzly did not say, I don't have time to take a nap. And we too can take care of ourselves. This is our macaw Belle. Whoops, next. Not yet, it isn't. There. Generations ago, I think 3 generations ago, her ancestors flew in the rainforest. But she can find nurturance anywhere there's a dogwood bud, anywhere Dave carries her to, a pine forest with a pine cone. And she has no compunctions about nurturing herself. I guarantee it. Next. I'll read it out loud in case anybody didn't bring their distance glasses, but I'm not insulting you. The water lily begins life in muck and mud. growing upward toward the light. It surfaces, then opens, giving to all. Do we want to judge ourselves for our lack of vision when we're in the muck and mud of transition? Or do we want to trust the process in all its mysteries? When we're most in a transition, we really can't see clearly. I just retired in June. Other than spending many, many hours to put this PowerPoint together, and I'm doing some writing, I don't know what Spirit will have me do next after 40 years of doing spiritual counseling and readings. And I know I was told to do it. Those are the times that it's easy to go, but I don't know what's next. Maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I didn't hear it right. No. Watch the water lilies. Next. This Adamasca lily, a wildflower in our area, grows in the swamp, in the muck, in the mud. Nothing shows when it's first growing. Not until it surfaces can anything be seen. Next. This is true of each of us every time there's a transition. And in life, there are many transitions, aren't there? Next. And next. All of these beauties put out a scent. All of them are exquisite. And they represent like the 1,000-petaled lotus, you know? They represent light going forth, but they start in muck and mud. If there was no swamp, there'd be no water lily. If we didn't have times we couldn't see, we couldn't come forth with the new beauty that's being born. When I was a speech pathologist, I did not expect to be doing readings and spiritual counseling later. At this point, I'm 73, I've retired, except for an occasional talk, and there'll be a next. And it'll come exactly in its perfect timing, just like the water lilies. And I only give myself as an example because all of us, including humanity at this time, are in huge transitions, are we not?